What is up, everybody? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. Got an interesting one in from Kansept that we're going to check out today. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we have one that is being designed by Tempest Knives. This is the Thunderhead. Very interesting offering. I like this design. We have micro milled titanium with a carbon fiber inlay. There are various materials that you can check out if you're interested. My link is down below along with a discount code. We have an opening hole with a front flipper. We have a rear mounted pocket clip that is reversible. Nice spring to it. I actually think it could be a little bit thicker here with that pocket clip. The other reason I say that is when I tend to grab onto it to front flip it, I do notice that it moves a little bit easier. So I'm wondering if they could recess it a little bit more, make it a little bit thicker. I think that would be nice. You have a quarter length titanium backspacer. This one is black wash, which I think is a nice touch to accent the carbon fiber. Good jimping on the front here. And check out that blade shape. You got a nice spoon here with jimping on the back. You got a nice landing pad here for those articulating index cuts. Swedge out here on the tip to keep it nice and thin and not drag through the material when cutting out towards the tip. And that beautiful modified sheep's foot blade on here with an acute tip that is going to be really good to power through those cuts. You have a nested liner lock here, so it is left-hand friendly, meaning when you go to open it, you don't have to worry about landing on that lock bar. And again, when you reverse that clip, going to be really easy to front flip that one. The detent on mine is tuned nicely. It is a smooth shaker. Opening hole is nice for the front, regular thumb flick and the reverse flick. And again, that access to the lock bar, good job there. I'm glad for that. The, again, immediate complaint that I have is I don't like that the pocket clip moves around so much. Like it has a lot of flex to it. And I think just recessing it a touch, making it a little bit thicker will keep that from moving. And you got an absolute home run here for me. I did take it down to the garage to do a little bit of cutting with this one. Mind you, it is a pass around, so it is a little light cutting, but Kansept does a nice job putting an edge on from the factory. They always cut well for me. And then also moving through the cardboard, it has a nice tall flat grind. It has a good geometry and blade stock thickness, so it was moving through that very well. And as I mentioned, when I got to those trace cuts, really great for me to index to. During the cutting, I forgot to mention, I love the choke up point here. Gets you really tight up to the blade's edge without actually making any contact, which for me with the larger hands, I like to see that. And then of course you can move back and you can get a lot of power if you're trying to move through the denser material and you don't want to be too close to that. But when it's something that you can move through easily, it's a nice choke up point. There are also slightly contoured scales on here. I appreciate that because it does add a little bit more to the level of comfort when handling this one. You do have ceramic bearings in the pivot, and they are running on race washers. I know there's some folks that are not as familiar with these that do get confused, but basically the race washers are milled out washers where the ceramic bearings lay in. That allows this to get nice and tight, keeps it very solid in the pivot, and it does keep it, as you can see here, nice and smooth on the close. And the detent tune also helps that. Let's go ahead and get a couple out for some size comparisons. All right, we have the Kansept Tarkin here, one of my personal favorites, and my Mini Nova from Vero Engineering. And as you can see here, the Thunderhead is definitely more of your full-sized EDC. Let's do a couple more, and then we'll check the weight on this one. All right, guys, we have quite a contrast here. We have one of my favorite budget knives so far this year, the Buster FG from Civivi, and then we have the QSP TPK exclusive Spear Hog or Spear Point Hedgehog here in the abalone. And as you can see, it is more full size, but I did want to pull out one that was just a little bit larger to kind of put it in perspective. So while it is bigger than the Tarkin, which I still also consider full size, this one would probably be more of a bruiser size, and then you have the Thunderhead just below that. Let me get these out of the way. We'll grab the scale and we'll check the weight on this one. All right, scale out, cutting it on, and the Thunderhead, I'm thinking like 3.5. I need to clean this up a little bit, guys. It's been a little while since I've used it, but I'm guessing about 3.5 ounces. Coming in at 4.6. Honestly, didn't really feel like it was that heavy in the hand, but it might be because I was handling the FG, which the FG is heavier, and I forget that that is a very heavy knife. So this one coming in just slightly over 4, which I think is in line with, yep, my Maverick Engineering Mini Nova. So right in line with that one as far as the weight's concerned. All right, guys, time for my final thoughts and impressions. If you're not familiar with my system, I grade on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest that you can score on a knife. The things that I take into consideration is going to be price, so money for value, what you're getting for what you pay, fit and finish, ergos, performance, and then of course the subjective aesthetics. There's a lot of positives with this one. I really like this. It hits on a lot of notes. I do acknowledge for some of those with smaller hands, this is a larger knife. I personally really appreciate that because there have been a plethora of smaller knives that have been released this year. So I'm grateful that Casey, even though he did the downdraft, which was a much smaller EDC, had this design here with Kansept to make it a little bit larger. I like the contoured scales with the micro milling. I appreciate that a ton. I love the fact that he did the inset liner lock here so that lefties can use this, and he did make the pocket clip reversible, although I do think that it should be just a skosh thicker. I don't think it needs to be much, just a little bit thicker where it is mounted at the top, because I think that's really where the flex is happening, because when I move it, I can see this raise on the opposite side that I'm pushing towards. I love the jimping, the blade shape, very useful, very easy to use, and a useful blade shape for cutting and for utility cuts. Aesthetically, I think it is something that is, while neutral, does have enough character to it. You got a couple of little humps here, and then you have it nice and smooth with really generous lock bar access. And then you got a very unique and interesting blade shape. I like to see that they are doing stuff a little bit different. Most of his blades have been kind of spear point-esque, but he has here lately done a couple of utility blade shapes, and I really appreciate that. Having said all that, for me, I am going 8.2, very high score on here. Kansept continues to really hit on the fit and finish. I think the price point on it is excellent. I think this is going to be fantastic to use, but I think also it showcases nicely when you pull it out and others are looking at this one. The micro milling and the inlay are an excellent touch on here. That's where I'm at with the Thunderhead. I am very curious to see what you guys think about this one down in the comments below. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. A special shout out and thank you to my channel members. Your membership and those of you that use those affiliate links allow this channel to continue to grow. All right, that's it for me, guys. I am out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.